Rolling up next, tag Senior Rock, Senior Rotax Masters, 12 laps, their pre-final. So here's your lineup in the tag class. Tyler Smith in the 18. Tyler with a 37.739 earlier this morning. Mike Andrews Jr., Mike with a 37.740. Boy, you couldn't get any closer. They'll be side by side at row number 1. Aaron Smith in the 17 starting third. Fourth, it'll be Matt Blair in the 47. Tag driver in the number 29. That'll be Jason Devine starting fifth. Gavin Mendez in the number 6, starting 6th. Pete Fritsch, Rotax Masters driver, in the number 23. 12 laps. Need Mini Rock drivers, your pre-grid. Mini Rock, your pre-grid. So your tag drivers going to make their way out, 12 laps. Tyler Smith inside row 1 in the 18. Mike Andrews Jr. in the 24 outside row 1. In row 2, the 17, that'll be Aaron Smith, Matt Blair in the 47. Jason Devine in the 29 starting 5th. Mendez will start 6th. Pete Fritz, your Rotax Masters driver in the 23, starting 7th. 12 laps. Need Mini Rock, you're on grid. Rotax Jr., Rock Jr., Pirella, your pre-grid. So your field going to make their way through the chicane. They'll come down off that final turn, 12 laps. Tyler Smith in the 18, Mike Andrews Jr. in the number 24. They come off that final turn. They'll get in their lanes. He was trying to get them, tighten them up. They'll step on the gas. Green is out. We're underway. Good start for the 18. Takes the field into turn number 1. That'll be Tyler Smith. Tyler, good start. Takes that freight train of traffic into the tree turn. Tyler Smith, your leader. Yeah, single file traffic now as they work their way off that hairpin turn. Aaron Smith in that number 17. Sitting back in that second place position. They'll cross the line. They'll make their way into turn number 1. So it's Tyler Smith, Aaron Smith, Andrews Jr., Matt Blair, Devine. Fritz, your Masters driver, currently running 6th overall. Good start from Mike Andrews Jr. Qualified 2nd. Did drop back 1 spot. Currently running 3rd off the hairpin turn. 12 laps. As your leader now makes their way into the chicane. Mini Rock, you're on grid. Rotax Jr., Rock Jr., Pirella, your pre-grid. So a good one going early on. Your leaders coming off that final turn. They'll head down the front stretch. Now a little crisscross move over for the lead. And holding on to it is the 18 of Tyler Smith. So Tyler hangs on. Moving up now 1 spot. That'll be Mike Andrews Jr. He does go to the inside and gets that 2nd position away. So Mike Andrews Jr. now 2nd. That'll push back the 17 of Aaron Smith right where he qualified 3rd. So through the chicane, it is Tyler Smith, Mike Andrews Jr., Aaron Smith, top 3 as they come off that final turn down the front stretch. Everybody going to sweep way to the left side. And they kind of cross over and they get to the top of the oval. But when they come off that final turn, everybody's staying to the left side of that track, and they'll run that line. Mike Andrews Jr. on the charge. 2 carton lengths separating 1st and 2nd to the top of the hairpin turn. Mike Andrews Jr. with 3 laps complete just turned to 37.762 for Mike Andrews Jr. So right now, Mike Andrews Jr., he's got the hot machine, but right now he's about a half a second behind your leader. As Smith will cross the line. Still about 0.4 of a second. Mike Andrews Jr., 37.723 for Mike Andrews Jr. He just turned it here in lap number 4. Again, he's got the hot cart right now, but unable to bring in your leader as they head to the hairpin turn. Coming off the pole position, 18 of Tyler Smith. He's led every lap so far. Smith will take the freight train of traffic into the to the chicane. Opens up about a 0.8 of a second advantage now. He'll come off that final turn. Sweeps that cart way to the left. Really hangs it out coming off that final turn. Still a half a second for your leader, Tyler Smith. They'll come off the oval into the tree turn. Mike Andrews Jr., nice run. And he closes the gap on your leader off the tree turn. Boy, Mike very strong coming off the top of the oval. So 5 laps in, your leader, Tyler Smith, Andrews Jr. running second, Aaron Smith third, Matt Blair fourth, Jason Devine fifth. Mendez running sixth in the tag. Here comes your leaders again, Mike Andrews Jr. Let's see what kind of run he gets this time. Gets on the bumper of your leader at the top of the hairpin turn. Closes it up off the exit. Now, little minor separation. Now we'll tighten it up again. Mike Andrews Jr. has been very good coming off the top of the oval. He gets a great run down the front stretch. Carries it to the top of the oval. Very strong through the tree turn. And then you see that separation as they come off the hairpin turn. Well, that's part where your leader, Tyler Smith, is very strong off that hairpin turn. So just over the halfway point, 7 laps in, 5 laps to go, 12-lap pre-final. And we got a brand new leader now taking it over just over the halfway point. Mike Andrews Jr., your brand new leader. And he'll go to work now off that hairpin turn. So Mike Andrews Jr., 7 laps complete, is your brand new leader. How about Aaron Smith? Lap 7, 37.635. Currently running third is Aaron Smith. 8 laps complete, 4 to go. This time by, there's your leaders into turn number 1. Andrews Jr., Tyler Smith, Aaron Smith off of that turn number 1, top of the oval. And they'll head into the tree turn. Running in the 4th spot, that'll be Matt Blair, currently 1.5 seconds behind your leader. Checking in on your Rotax Masters driver, Pete Fritz, currently running 6th overall in this field. So got a good one going here as your field comes off the final turn. They'll work their way to the straight. Here they'll cross the line. 9 laps complete this time by. Andrews, Smith, that'll be Tyler Smith, Aaron Smith. 1, 2, 3 as they'll take that into tree turn. Aaron Smith about, I would say about 0.6 of a second behind your leader running third. Tyler Smith running second, 0.4 of a second behind your leader. Andrews trying to get away from the 2 brothers, Tyler and Aaron Smith. They'll see 2 to go this time by. So Mike Andrews Jr. looks up. He's got 2 to go this time by. He'll head to the top of the oval. Nice run. I'll tell you, that cart number 24, Andrews, is very strong when he really gets that speed down the front stretch, carries the momentum off to the top of the oval, and that's really where he's gaining that deficit between first and second. He really opens up the gap. And he'll come through the chicane, heads to the top of the chicane, a half a second, separates first and second. As your leader comes up the front stretch, here he comes. White flag, 1 to go for Mike Andrews Jr., your second different leader off of turn number 1. Half a second gap, there's your leader. Nice run again, really quick off the top of the oval. He'll work through the tree turn. So your leader enters that chicane right now, heads to the chicane for the final time. Your second different leader. And here comes Mike Andrews Jr., qualified second. He'll work off the final turn. This will do it. He'll seal the deal. Mike Andrews Jr., your tag winner. Tyler Smith second, Aaron Smith third. Matt Blair will pick up 4th. 5th, it'll go to Jason Devine. Pete Fritz, your winner in the Rotax Masters.